Oh man, my back is hurting just thinking about this topic we're about to get into. So a lot of you have experienced this moving. Moving day is something you dread, something that your friends won't answer their phone if they know that you're about to move somewhere. This is something that nobody wants to do. Everybody's going to have to do it. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. So what are some of the different ways that you can move across country, somewhere out of state, something even in state, but that's a long distance? It's a mind-blowing, mind-boggling endeavor to get into if you've never done it before. And even if you've done it before, let's say you have the best method, it's still a lot of work unless you have a ton of money to hire someone just to come in and pack your whole house, move it, and you can just leisurely fly where you want to go and get there, and they've already had your house unpacked. Most people don't have the funds or want to spend the money on something like that. So the average everyday person like myself, we have to actually get our hands dirty, throw some gloves on, and actually get this done. I'm going to get into some of the top ways that you can get this done. Some of the things you may have thought of and some of them you didn't even know existed. We're going to get into some of the different methods of how you and your family can move your stuff across country and try to save you some money, save you some headache, and hopefully give you some advice that'll help you get on the right track. So if you could like and subscribe to this video, we get into stuff like this all the time. We get into real estate stuff. We get into home ownership. We get into home improvement type stuff. And today we're going to get into some moving stuff. So like and subscribe. Otherwise, stick around and we're going to get into it right now. So number one on my list of ways that you can move your family and your stuff across country is going to be probably the most obvious one. We'll just get that one out of the way. This is renting a moving truck or a trailer. This is how we ended up doing it. So we ended up moving with a U-Haul truck. And if you're in any of these states that everyone's fleeing from, like California or Washington or Oregon, these trucks are not easy to get a hold of. Everyone's leaving there and going somewhere else. Well, they have to get those trucks back somehow. And so they're actually driving them back empty and spending the money on that. And so it costs a lot of money and it takes time to get those trucks back. So it's going to cost you a premium. So it's probably 5 to 7 times more expensive, maybe 10 times more expensive by now, to move from California and go to a state where no one's leaving, like Idaho or Florida or Texas, than it is to go from one of those places into California. And some people may not think about this. What we did was I was looking at rates, and I'm one of those guys that likes to shop around. I like to compare everything. I like to do my due diligence and like to write down prices from different businesses and see which one's the best as far as not just the price, but what you're getting. What I did was I went on U-Haul's website and I actually compared different size trucks, picking up from different locations. And I realized that the further away from San Diego I got going east, I realized the price went a little bit cheaper and the availability was a little bit better. So if you're willing to pick it up in the middle of nowhere, for instance, it's cheaper than if you're wanting to pick it up in downtown San Diego, for example. So what I did was I started comparing the busiest places that people weren't moving away from, and the closest I could come up with was Las Vegas. So what I did was went out to Las Vegas, picked up the truck. I spent the night in a cheap hotel out there, drove back, and we had a moving truck. So it saved me about $1,500 by doing that, and it was well worth the 1 day of time that I spent, or less than 1 day. Okay, so number 2. This one is something that I didn't ever think of, and maybe you've never thought of it either. So I guess if you have a large enough load and you can fill up a trailer, or maybe you can go in with some other people, if you can make it work financially, you can actually rent a trailer, like a semi-truck trailer, freight trailer, and you can fill it up with the stuff yourself. So get your buddies, come out, maybe hire a couple people off Craigslist, have them come over, pack your house up, put the stuff in the trailer. Once it's ready to go, the truck will actually come by, hitch up, and actually drive where you want to go, and they'll drop the trailer off. Another one is one that I've never actually looked into, but I have seen plenty of people do it. This would be renting a pod or something similar to a pod. So for those of you that don't know what this is, to get into it real quickly, there is a small container that you can put your stuff in, pack it as neat and as nice as you want, do it all yourself so you know it's all secure, padded up, and lock the door, put a padlock on it, and then let them know. They'll come by with a truck and it hoists it up on the bed, and then it drives it wherever you want it to go, and then it unloads it in the driveway, and then you just let them know when you're ready to pick it up. Another one, which this is probably one of the more expensive options, is going to be hiring a professional moving company. And so I don't know if any of you that are looking into doing this have actually called and gotten rates, but I know it's extremely expensive if you want a company to come out, either pack your house up and put it in the truck, or just take the boxes that are in the garage and pack it up and move you. Whichever the case may be, this is probably going to be by far the most expensive option, but it is definitely the easiest one by far. If you have the money or you just really, really hate moving, maybe this is an option for you to look into. This makes moving a lot more pleasant. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that actually we did do when I moved my shop. So the first run we did, we moved our house in a 26-footer with a 12-foot trailer behind it, and that's how we moved our physical house and all the stuff in it. And then when I had to go back to San Diego to move my business, I actually loaded it up into a 20-foot trailer that I purchased off a private party. So like everything during this pandemic stuff that's been going on, everything of value went up. So cars, trucks, trailers, RVs, everything just went through the roof. And so this was no exception. So these things doubled in price since the beginning, before the pandemic to now. And I'm not sure what it is right now. It might have cooled off a little bit, but it's still way more than it was before. But the good news is that these things are still on high demand. They're still selling easily. So what we did was I found somebody in another state, actually. I drove out and picked it up, drove it back to the house, loaded up the trailer, and actually moved, pulling it behind my truck, moved all my stuff from my shop to Idaho, then put the trailer up for sale once we got here, and actually got all my money back. So it was actually kind of like a free trailer rental, and the guy that bought it, funny enough, was doing the same exact thing. So he drove in from Oregon to pick up the trailer, which was 5 hours each way, which is about what I drove to get it from California to Arizona when I bought it. He was buying it to move to Wisconsin. So he was going to drive back, load up his stuff, load up his motorcycle and all that kind of stuff. And he was just heading out to Wisconsin to get out of Oregon. So this is something that a lot of people are thinking of. And it's basically either a cheap or a free rental as long as nothing really bad happens along the way. Another one that I thought was extremely interesting and I'd never thought of before is UShip. So I used to own and run a motorcycle dealership for 10 years, and I used UShip a lot to ship motorcycles for customers. It's an extremely user-friendly platform that allows anybody who doesn't do shipping on a normal basis to navigate their way through, organize and put a shipment on UShip bulletin board for a shipping company to come in and pick up your whatever it is, whether it's a car, motorcycle, jet ski, whatever it is, and ship it wherever you're going. They'll give you an actual bid, and the cool part is you can get multiple bids. So this website is the letter U, like U-Haul, but it's uship.com. And so what you do basically is you can actually put on there that you're moving, and you'll get bids from different companies that are willing to come and move your stuff for you. They're licensed, bonded. You can usually track them via GPS. It's very cool, actually. So that's something that I have never actually looked into, but I do know that they offer that service. So that's something that you may want to look into also, is look into going on UShip and see how much it'll cost if you're looking for the someone else do it for me option. Another option is going through and having your stuff shipped on a pallet. So this is one of those options that you may not want to do if you have a lot of stuff, but if you travel light or if you just have a small load or a few small loads, you can actually get pallets and have your stuff stacked on it, follow the regulations weight-wise and height-wise, size-wise, whatever. Wrap it with plastic real good, make sure it's secured. They'll actually come in and pick it up with a forklift, put it in the truck, and be on their way and ship it wherever you want to go. So that's another option. That's probably based on size and based on weight as well. Another option that I never knew existed is you can ship by train. So Amtrak, again, if you don't have a ton of stuff, you can bring your stuff to the Amtrak station and they'll actually load it up in the train and charge you based on the weight and the size of your stuff that you're shipping. As an example of what Amtrak does, so they have a flat rate. So the first 100 pounds that you're shipping is $67. And every pound thereafter is 57 cents per pound. And that's based on the most recent data that I could find. So that's another option you can look into. If that fits something that you're looking at maybe doing, that might actually save you quite a bit of money. That seems like one of the cheaper options, actually. Hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully it was entertaining, and hopefully it gave you some insight into some methods that you may not have thought of. I don't know that half of these would work for me personally, just because of my situation and how much stuff I have and my family size and all that kind of stuff. But for a lot of people, there's a lot of people in different scenarios. I would highly recommend, take it from me, someone who has just done this recently, thought they knew what they were doing, did what I'm telling you to do, just didn't do it enough. So I would say, if you're in doubt, get rid of it. If you can replace it, get rid of it. So make sure that whatever you're selling is available, though. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. There's a lot of things now that aren't as available as they used to be. It's getting a little bit better, but it's kind of shifting too. Like things that were available during the pandemic now aren't available now, and stuff that wasn't available then, there's plenty of it now, and the prices have come down. So just make sure that you know what you're doing. Make sure that you are up to date on how much things cost, what things are available, are back ordered, that kind of thing. Make sure you're not setting yourself up for a problem where you get where you want to go and then you can't get a washer and dryer, you can't get a refrigerator, you can't get a couch because they're all back ordered, stuff like that. So look into all that. Anyways, hopefully this video helped you out. Like and subscribe, that helps us out. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video, and send us a comment if you like the video. You can contact us through idahopulse.com if you need any real estate help or if you just have any questions for us. Good luck with your move, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.